Hello, my dear ones. Always a great pleasure to talk with you about health and spirituality and stuff. Those are my two favorite subjects because they're also cool. You know, you can get yourself feeling so good. I think that the mind has made a complex world out of this, out of creation in some ways. And you have to be careful with that because we keep carrying these old myths and complex theories that don't work. I mean, we have to come back to simplicity. Think about balance, and that the universe always has to be balanced, just like chemistry and ionization. You always have this balancing and saturation of chemistry, that you have it on every level. And so there just needs to be a saturation. There was getting a saturation of negative energies. So you guys are so important to this planet in keeping yourselves positive and giving. Because if you give, you remember that old saying, you give to get? Hi, sweetheart.
Hi, are you busy?
Good. No, you can come push this button if you want.
Oh.
That's a little red button right there. I'll be right back. Oh, sorry about that. There is just so many poor sick people. Especially you ladies with the tumors. All I have to say is, if you wake up to a breast tumor, or any tumor in your body, my opinion, do not have it biopsied. And I've talked about this before. Why in the world? These guys are stupid. Why you would touch something. I have friends that are medical doctors and surgeons, and they tell me, I hear it. And it's like sad stuff. You don't need to know whether there's a cancer cell in that tumor or not, because if there's any cell in interstitial wrapped around cells, there's going to be. Those cells are going to be chewed up. Okay, they're in a tumor, number one. They can't make another. One cell that becomes mutated can't make another cell mutated. The same reason it becomes mutated can affect another cell, of course, but a cell can't go to the next guy and go, I mean, it can affect it vibrationally, no question. No question. I wanted to thank you for the Christmas cards. There's a whole bunch of them. That one's cute. Oh, Santa got stuck in the chimney. And just some beautiful ones here. Some just beautiful, beautiful cards. We have them all over the place. We thank you all so much. We really do. This was a neat thing. This guy had a cyst on his finger, and now it's gone. He had a cyst right there on his finger, and now it's gone. But these things are easy to get rid of, to tell you the truth. When you understand the lymph system, this stuff's easy to get rid of. It's some of the gnarly ones that's not so easy, some that are like this poor lady. Those are not easy to get rid of. And you don't want to let yourself get to these shapes. If you're waiting on a particular modality, let's say you're going to a medical or to any practitioner and you're not getting a remedy, or the therapy seems to be deadly, I'd rethink it. This is cool. Vegan Adventures with Barney and Friends. And this is Matt. Matt, way to go, man. Love it, love it, love it, Matt. Look at that smiling guy right there, handsome guy right there, Matt. Look at that guy. I just love these. You know what, Matt, you guys are doing such a cool thing. And also with the children's comic books and stuff, you guys are doing such a great service for this planet in molding the consciousness. We have educations right now. They're trying to focus on, let's say, the what they call the liberal thinking. I don't know where that comes in, but socialism basically, and trying to get into schools that trying to change what you're learning. And it's like, geez, so the future ought to be interesting. And all these new souls, I won't say new souls, but all these infants coming in, these children coming in, are advanced souls, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. You hear about the golden children, and you hear about the indigos, and you hear about all these. But definitely you have some beings coming to this planet, taking on physical bodies that have been in all kinds of places. So very much more awake than the mainstream human consciousness is. So you're going to see a lot of changes. Kids are not going to go to school full term. You're not going to send these these new, I should call them older souls, to high school for 12 years. You're not going to inundate their minds because they're screaming for spirituality, but that's what this planet needs. So they're bringing to this planet the very thing this planet needs is the love, is simplicity. We have to bring into balance the intellectual, because when things get too intellectual, that's the negative forces. And so you see what happens? Your ego gets accentuated. Pretty soon you think you're better than everybody, or you know the answers and no one else does. I find that interesting in allopathy. You really see it in allopathy, badly. And it's sad because that's a system that the theories don't work, and there's a lot of death and a lot of maiming of humans, and it's like, ouch, ouch. But to love this kind of stuff, this planet needs some help, and you guys are doing such a great job at helping this planet, I can't tell you. We've had parties in my room for Christmas and everything else, so I'm trying to find everything. Let's see here. Do we want to start with our little meditator? Our little omer or hewer? Okay. Yeah, I'm knocking this pile down pretty good. But I've been so busy, guys. I haven't had a chance to sit down and do some videos for you. I got to meet with Steve, but I don't think that was much of an informational video, But we want to be able to give you as much help as possible to get yourself through some of these darker areas. Some people are sailing right through them, and some people are, going through their karmic unloads, and so some are having an easy time and others not so easy. But for the most part, it's amazing to see how much wellness you guys are doing. It's just amazing. And don't give up out there. You realize you've had genetics on top of how old are you on this lifetime eating acid ash fruits. You didn't know any better. At least this planet's got to start teaching the proper way for humans to eat. And this protein myth, oh my God, a myth that's killing so many people. I was just looking at one case Marcy's got. That poor lady, her stomach is horrible. I mean, it's got atrophy and everything else. You don't do proteins on a stomach that you have gastroparesis or extreme gastritis and you have atrophy of the stomach tissue. Why would you ever put a protein in there? I mean, it's like insanity thinking, because no matter what the medical doctor keep pushing this bicarbonate bull crap, obviously doesn't work like they think it does. Because by switching your diet, you can switch the outcome, obviously. Hello, I am on a journey to Well-ville. Yeah, but who is this? Oh, Janis. I am on the journey to Well-ville, and I am in need of support. You got it. Guidance and a few herbs. My past includes toxic stress, years of high protein, high fat, and refined grains, diabetes, hyperglycemia, which is high blood sugar, years of using bactrim. Uh-oh. See, and that's the problem here, and listening to bad medical and bad nutritional advice. Isn't that sad? I don't know why this planet got so tripped up with that level of focus and having so many people die and be hurt over this without changes sooner. But you see how it takes the human consciousness along. It's like a big truck, piggyback truck carrying a couple of pulling a couple of trailers. You got to make room. So when you look at the diabetes and the hyperglycemia, which is the same thing, basically, you're looking at the adrenal glands, unless you're type 1. But even in type 1s, you always have the adrenal and kidney problem. Always. Always. Doesn't matter. They're always present. So you're always going to work on those. Blown disc, microdiscectomy. Stop menstruating. Oh, this is a female. Janis. Stop menstruating after surgery. Honey, I've heard of that before. I had a lady come to me and she had 4 surgeries on her knee or something. I don't know why it took so many. But after the fourth one, she came out of surgery as a type 1 and quit menstruating. Well, remember propofol, what it did to Michael Jackson. It's a neurotoxin. So it shuts down your nervous system. Well, your autonomic nervous system is your communication highway. Without that, nothing's turned on or off. I mean, that's the electrical department. Without electricity, the body runs on electricity, on energy. And when that isn't happening, it doesn't run very well, does it? So, yeah, this is a bit of a problem here. It's enough to say that you can get that back fairly easy. You got to get your pituitary back in line because it suppresses endocrine glands. So surgeries are not always fun and games. You can come out with some serious stuff, but you can get those back. I've done this many, many times. But the blown disc and stuff, that's your lymph system, and you're not draining down your spine there. And again, you're going back to your kidneys for that. You're diabetes type 1. Okay, you're a type 1 diabetic. So let me say that you want to research also and think about, excuse me, if I was you, I'd have upper circuit, brain, and nerve. You got to have those to turn everything back on from the surgery and propofol and all that. But at the same time, you want to hit that nervous system just in case, because you don't have your eyes. I don't know if you have a neurological weakness in the beta cells or it's the beta cells actually. Then you can take the pancreatic formula if you want, that sort of thing. That's not a sugar formula. It is a pancreatic formula to get the pancreatic cells back in shape. You always want to work on your kidneys and adrenals and move the lymph. In that process, everything turns around. Because it's the lymph. If you looked at this and traced it back even down to your genetic field, you're going to find the lymph system is always the culprit at creating these problems. Because it's the acid side of chemistry. Remember, you're going to go back to how many sides of chemistry? 2. Chemistry is everything. Chemistry is everything in the physical world. Everything is chemistry. Well, chemistry is frequencies of electromagnetic energy. So, oh wow, this is an electrical world, just also is broken down to its even more mundane levels of chemistry. And then as you start leaving the body and working with the higher heavens or the higher realms, now you're into more electrical worlds, more electricity, more consciousness, more awareness involved. Here it seems to be somewhat restricted. Possibly neurological type 1 diabetes. Oh, this guy, she's smart already. Smart already. Possibly neurological type 1 diabetes. And you're right. You guys are getting this, are going to be the smartest healers on this friggin' planet and all the other planets and all the other realms you have bodies on. I'm telling you guys are really getting this. I continue to struggle with hyperglycemia but need very little synthetic. Perfect. So what you want to do is try to use glucophage or something like that, even if you can push that up into the low 200s, because every time you take an insulin, that's a hormone. So that's going to reduce the body's ability to produce insulin in the beta cell. So you might be right with that. But upper circuit, brain, and nerve is going to be good for that if it is a neurological. At the same time, the adrenal glands are going to produce the neurotransmitters to help to get that autonomic up and moving, get those myelin sheaths electrical. Boy, I hear about that train accident out in California today. That was pretty bad. I'm sorry. I feel sorry for Amtrak. It's a brand new train. Went from using 60 units of Humalog a day down to less than 1. Yeah, babe. This lady is kicking butt. Janis, Montana. Yeah, she's a hardy woman, it sounds like. Probably a rancher woman. Hardy, strong, good constitution, kicking things in the butt here. Today I'm using 5 units of Tresiba, or whatever you call that, long-acting insulin to control my blood sugars. I'm sure you've tried the all-fruit way. I mean, you can try all fruit. Vegetables has glucose a little inferior, so could bump the blood sugars. But don't forget the adrenal glands. You want those neurotransmitters, and of course you want the cortisols and stuff to come up as well. I have been vegan for almost 4 years, recently eliminating grains and beans. And that would be important. You know what gets me is that people that have blood sugars, they don't tell them, stop the grains. They have this bullcrap glycemic index thing, and it's like, stop the grains. You're into starch. You're into complex sugar. Anything that's a di or poly, what are we talking about? You're not going to use them. I mean, these are the complex sugars. You have to have simple sugars or you don't live. So simple sugars are essential, but that's simple fructose, glucose, galactose, that sort of thing. You have a lot of ribose, stuff like that, but those are more those sugars deal with more RNA, DNA, that sort of thing. But there's sugars involved everywhere in the body. I don't know what people think about you're going to get rid of sugars. Carbon is a major component of the human body. And, people used to think, you hear them about carbon prints, but everybody bitches about proteins and thinks we're like nitrogen prints or something. No, we're carbon prints. Yeah, she said, I'm now on a 90% raw fruit diet. Oh, good girl, good girl. Good. Keep us informed about that. Fruits, berries, and melons, limiting bananas, good deal. Oh, I know. Avocado, I'm the same way. When you get used to the watery and feeling light and free, and banana's kind of heavy. That's why it needs to be ripe, not overripe, but ripe. She's limiting bananas, avocados, and coconut products. Smart. You guys are getting smart. I am interested in the GI broom to remove sulfur. Boy, I would. Yes, ma'am. And also any plaque on the wall, and help to maybe astringe interstitially a little bit, hopefully, to help move that little stagnant lymph in most people. I am open to suggestion for herbs for adrenals, kidneys, and pancreas. Yeah, get yourself on a protocol, honey. I'd probably do 2 kidneys formulas, 1 lymphatic formula, adrenal gland. I do an endocrine gland too, because just for about a bottle, you might want to do the pituitary. Sounds like the propofol shut down your pituitary. Like I said, I've seen this before, and the women come out as type 1s and quit menstruating. It's amazing that those 2 things. Now, it is possible that this is a neurological type 1, and that whole process then shut that as well. Either way, you're going to turn back on the nervous system, detox this neurotoxicity out of you, and that's what you need is the fruit level, because this is the nervous system. If you're dealing with pancreatic or liver tissue, you can always, I guess, do the vegetable matter, but no, this is neurological, so you want to be at the fruit and berry melon side. Plus, for detox, par none. Your vegetables do not detox you. I submit this to you. Do a 10-day carrot juice fast. Get your bunny loves or whatever. Do a 10-day carrot juice fast. I remember the day bunny loves were sweet as honey. Then they went through the bitter stages. It's like, what? So I don't know if they got sweet again or not. I don't buy bunny loves anymore. Do a 10-day carrot juice fast, and then turn around and do a 10-day grape fast. And then you tell me what your experience was. I don't have to tell you. This is what research on your own does. And this is a good woman here, guys, because she's doing this on her own. She's a pretty smart gal, and she picked up on that neurological thing right there. This was a little university out of Canada. And I felt it should have won a Nobel Peace Prize, because that's a big deal. Understanding the neurological connection to everything, and that a lot of these chronic conditions and suppression of structure function cells is neurological. And that is a big deal, especially in our field where we can fix things like this. In their field, they don't know what to do with it anyway, because they don't know how to fix anything. And that's what's important, is you learn how to fix things. I love what you're doing with the insulin. As soon as you can get down and get off of it completely, I would. Substitute glucophage or something. And keep going that route. I think you're doing well. Go after the nervous system. Upper circuit brain and nerve would be 2 I'd recommend. 2 kidney formulas, an adrenal formula, and an endocrine gland formula. Those are kind of my standard focuses. But I would do a pituitary again. Just take a look and see if you need a parathyroid, just in case. You don't know how that interplays with that. But smart woman, I really appreciate, Janis. I really thank you for, you're doing well here. Janis Schultz, good deal. Montana, baby. Adrenals, kidneys, and pancreas. You can do a pancreatic formula, liver gallbladder formula too. There is some thought in the world that always in type 1 there is liver problems with that. So, but it's across the street. I'm in the pancreas over here, the liver's over there across the street. You all right over there? But we're all hooked to the branch. We're just branches off the tree. What's the tree? The GI tract. And the sinuses are hooked to it too. So you really got to get this clean before your sinuses will thoroughly drain. Anybody ever had a bowel movement and then their nose started to run after they pooped? Yeah. Shows you the interconnection of everything. That's why you always want to work on the GI tract, the kidneys, the adrenals. You want to go after the body systemically. That way you're going after it, everything. And that way you get something done. Take a bottle of herbs here, a bottle of herbs there. You might as well whistle Dixie. This is from Mrs. Olive. I like that. Yeah. Please help. I have gone as far as I can with regular doctors. I need real healing. I am pregnant with yeast. I am pregnant with yeast infection, UTI, and pinworms. Well, that's okay. All right, that's not so bad. I used to know how to safely get well without harming my body. Yeah. Well, harm never comes to you with the fruits and the berries and the melons and the vegetables per se. You know, there's really nothing. You can get into cruciferouses. They're pretty strong, and especially if you have sulfur yourself, they can create extra gassy bloating. Because beans, the cruciferouses, these are all high sulfur foods, and you know, you get the blowback on those, and to me, there's no good blowback with sulfur. Yeah. But, all right, so yeast infections, pinworms, basically what can take care of the yeast infection will take care of the pinworm. So I would do Parasite M. I think a dropper full would be adequate. You could probably do a dropper and a half, but pretty safe. Dropper, I'd do a dropper full 4 times a day there and let this fungus come out of you. And the pinworms, that sort of thing. If Parasite M is stronger, but it goes out, it can kill big worms too. So I can't imagine not with the pins. But watch your stools, see what you got coming out. If you feel like you got some bigger boys in there, I would up that to Parasite G. Now, you're pregnant, so I'd probably just do about 3 capsules 3 times a day on that one if it was me. UTI, lymphatic. So here's the thing. You definitely want to use your kidney formulas. And the thing is, sweetheart, if you're not filtering in your kidneys, neither is your baby. Remember, you mamas are being used as a sewer dump. Your babies are using your sewer system to dump their sewer system. And you have to realize that the baby's made of, what's the little fetus made of? Cells, same as your body. So there is metabolitic waste happening within the fetus as well. So your cord is their lifeline at not only nutrition, but eliminating their waste. To show you this is to take a look at what we're seeing now today. Tumors in 1-year-olds, 5-year-olds, brain tumors, eye tumors, all kinds of stuff going on out there. And it's they're not filtering. So if the mother's not filtering, the baby's not filtering well. And a milk drinking, and that's after they come out. But if the mother was milk drinking, to fill the baby full of mucus and themselves full of mucus, I mean, it just gets pretty gnarly. So you want to go on at least 2 kidney formulas. But our lymphatic one is pretty safe. Basically, you could do a half a dropper of lymphatic 1. Might be a little helpful there to get things moving. If not, just stay on your fruits, berries, and melons. You might want to do a little superfood 3 or something since you're carrying here. I would definitely do the kidneys, the adrenals, the endocrine gland. You want to strengthen the uterus and stuff so you can carry to term okay. You can have a nice child delivery. Think about looking up a red raspberry, that sort of tea and stuff like that for ladies. So looking up some good herbs for yourself. But I would shift the diet to an all raw diet. Get that baby strong. Get your kidneys filtering so the babies will filter, and go after your lips. And the thing is, that's just a cautionary tale on my part. But I'm real cautious about using lymphatic herbs with pregnancy, because I think that if you have a weak fetus, it's possible that the body will try to get rid of it. Remember, the body tries to get rid of anything that's weak in it. Tumors, anything, it's going to try to get rid of it. That's its job. It doesn't like splinters in it. It doesn't like anything like that. So, get up there on the raw where you get the body the power, the energy, and the nutrition to kick this out. But get yourself on a raw food diet, honey. That'll also help with the UTI and move the lymph systems. Use the Parasite M first to see if that'll help get rid of the... it goes after the fungus and stuff. And walnut haw is an excellent pinworm killer, too. It also is good for tapes, too. No tapeworm on this. Nobody likes walnut haw. Nothing. But you relax. We'll help you. We'll help you and get yourself taken care of. Yeast infections, UTIs, and pinworms, very nothing. Easy to get rid of, all these things. But I don't know about dry fasting with pregnancy. I probably wouldn't recommend it myself. But I would eat fruits, berries, and melons, maybe with a salad a day. And I think that'll be enough to slowly clean that and use the kidney formulas, the parasite M and all that. I think that would be adequate for you. But you want to get yourself more awake and your baby coming out awake, upper circuit, brain, and nerve. I would make that fetus come out talking. I'm telling you, these herbs are incredible. These are God's herbs, and of course, anyone that can create a creation like this can create some mighty fine herbs. So thank you, dear. Hi, I'm a 54-year-old woman, had 3 back surgeries. Ooh, that's not good. And a steel post and cage in my back. Holy moly. Excuse me. I have had 2 neck bulges, discs now. Had, oh wow, a vaginal mesh. You got major prolapsing, sweetheart. You got major parathyroid and probably pituitary going on here without me even reading any further. All right? Because of my mesh put in because of my bladder peeling all the time, peeing all the time, but I can't walk good no more. Tried all the time. Vaginal dryness. Okay, so vaginal dryness, my dear, is a lack of estrogen in the adrenal glands. Shows the adrenals are down. Get some black cohosh. It's an estrogenic herb, and add it to your other herbs. A dropper full or a half a dropper full 3 times a day. You start getting your moisture back as you start inspiring better adrenal function. And of course, black cohosh is excellent for women that have dryness down there to get moisture. It is an estrogenic herb, though. I mean, it promotes estrogen. Vaginal dryness, which has caused big problem for my husband. I know, but you go after this. But I'm telling you, what I'm seeing here, honey, you've got some serious stuff going on here. You want to take a look at your pituitary, and I'm telling you, parathyroid. You have to work on that. You ought to hook with one of the counselors here. Send in a picture of your eyes so we can get you going, because you're really going to work on your parathyroid. Start strengthening your back. And start strengthening all your connective tissue everywhere, because you could get your uterus pulling right down on your bladder and everybody coming right out the vaginal area. You don't want that. And it just showing your walls already. So it's just showing you that you have major connective tissue weakness. Well, that's all parathyroid, and I'm going to get a sense here, pituitary here. Because every time we have sex, he gets redness and sore looking penis, but he also had a heart attack 2009. He has stopped all big pharma meds, but we both need help and don't have much funds, as I am on CPP, disability. The $500 a month could please help us. All right, sweetheart, listen to this. I will give this to Jennifer. That's Jennifer W. She is a trustee and part owner, and she'll have you fill out some paperwork and see where you are on your income, and then we have some means to help. And so let's see where you go. But you need help. You need help on your skeletal system and connective tissue badly. So you want to start. I would right now. You got to buy food anyway. I would start having a big salad a day and a lot of apples and grapes, things like that. Whew-wee, honey. We are both in deep trouble here with our health, as we need your help. We are sick here and could use some help, as the doctors wants us gone. I bet. We know this. We need to know where to start. Well, you first always start, my dear ones, with the diet. No matter what or how long it takes to deal with the herbs, you start on the diet immediately. Immediately when you hear these videos, that's it. Throw out the crap. Clean your kitchen, clean your refrigerator. Go buy a bunch of fruits, berries, melons, and maybe salad material. And put yourself in focus up here. Realize why you're doing this and who you're doing it for. Okay? You're not doing it for anybody else. You're doing it for yourself. And ladies, you love yourselves. You're the caregivers. You're the love principle on this planet. We need you. So you ladies, strengthen up and become warrior women. Men need to understand the female principle better and take care of it better. A lot of women are looking for good men and they're not out there. And a lot of good men, you guys spiritual men, you have to touch the sweetness and touch the sensitivity of things, and at the same time be detached. You want to know how to love to the max, but at the same time be detached. Use some products are best to get. Plus my arms hurt sore all over our bodies. And my husband has pain on his left side all the time. He had H. pylori, I think you're trying to say, stomach, full of ulcers. Oh, see, what you both are suffering from is bad lymph systems. I mean, this is all what this is. And so you got to think about your kidneys, your adrenal glands, and the things we teach here, the focus to the human body, which isn't a lot, but it's focused right on the system that you're having trouble with. And my husband has pain, let's see, he had ulcers. I had 1 year straight of bladder infections. So if you can help us, it would be great. My name is Elizabeth and David. Please help us get our lives back. Thank you. God bless you. Well, my dear one, I'll put let's help them. And I'll get this to Jen. All right. And then she'll contact you and get the paperwork going to see if we get the funds to help you. But we will help you. You just change the diet now. Because you feel all that pain everywhere. You're highly acidic everywhere. I mean, that's systemic acidosis. That means your kidneys are not filtering, so either your kidneys or your adrenals are down. Most people's adrenals are down anyway, so you can almost give that a check, but go after those kidneys, right? Because you got to get out of this kind of trouble. You guys are in trouble there, so change your diet, go out and go grocery shopping. You got to spend money anyway. If you got food stamps, it doesn't matter. You go right after the fruit, berries, and melons and vegetables. And then we'll fix you a herbal protocol up to check a boot. But you want to definitely go after the kidneys, the adrenals. You want at least one lymphatic formula. So we need to see what all you're suffering with and have you fill out paperwork, my dear one. But try to get that to you as soon as possible, okay? Dear Dr. Morse, I'm a 28-year-old woman with Hashimotos. Hashimoto, what was his first name? Steve? No. Blood sugar issues, adrenal insufficiency, and 1 kidney. 1 kidney due to removal in 2012 after my doctor missed a birth defect. We fix birth defects. You can fix birth defects. You can fix genetics. Remember this one case I had, spinal bifida, born without L4 and L5. Right? Born without L4 and L5. 2 years on raw and herbs, she has L4 and L5. Testimony, have it. So, what's that? That is cool regeneration. And that's what we're about. We need to teach this world that everything isn't always negative. Everything isn't always bad. There's the good. There's the regeneration. There's the positive side of God. Not just the negative. I have been on the autoimmune version of the paleo diet, vegetable heavy, for roughly 1 year with good results, antibody reduction and symptom-wise. However, despite my antibodies still coming down, my health has plateaued. That's because the vegetable matter you're on, dear, vegetable matter will plateau you, and I've said this before, and you're a good case to show that. It doesn't have the power you need. You need to kick it up to what? What is that? What?
Yeah, baby.
What is it? Fruits, berries, and melons. Get it higher. Take your world higher, baby. Because vegetables are lower. You want to go higher, don't you? Kick it up a notch. All you guys that are suffering, just put you on a 10-day grape diet. Just automatically. Just go to the store, load up on grapes, stop eating all your crap, and go on a 10-day grape diet. Find the herbs for the kidneys, the adrenals. Think about what we talk about in the videos about how the lymphatic system is, and go after that lymphatic system. Wouldn't hurt to go after the GI tract and the endocrine glands. So that's only 3 systems. Lymphatic system, endocrine gland system, GI tract. You go after those 3 things alone, there's nothing you can't win. God. Sorry about a kidney. You have a mental lymphedema in that leg. Thank you, Lord, because that would be a nightmare. I have been on the autoimmune version of the plateau. Remember, vegetables plateau. You've said this for years and years and years. If they're lucky, they even help you. It'd be the dark green, be the chlorophyll type of wood. I have noted that I cannot tolerate a lot of good fat without being very tired, or salt, including celery juice, because it gives me a kidney ache. Well, honey, I'm not into vegetables, so move yourself over to fruits, berries, and melons, and I think you're going to have an entirely different experience. Vegetables are not suited for the human being. We can eat them. I have become aware of your way of healing and would love to do it. Oh, jump right in, baby. The water's fine. But I've tried it, and I can't seem to cope because of what feels like blood sugar stress. And I have read and experienced in my situation that blood sugar stress further fuels the autoimmune condition. No, it doesn't feel nothing like that. But what it is the same gland is involved. Which one might that be? The adrenal glands. Absolutely. I have attempted to start the transition, but my body cannot tolerate the amount of food I need to sustain me, and the salad vegetables alone don't go. All right, do this then. Put yourself on it, Rob, but you've got to back this up. You can't just put it on it. You know, when your adrenals are that down, no amount of diet's going to turn them on. You've got to get specific with the herbs and other factors, even glandulars. That's what we use to help back up ourselves. But if you're having blood sugar problems with fruit and you're not on vegetables, something's wrong here. Because fruits cause less blood sugar problems than vegetables. Fact. Especially in type 1s. Fact. But fruit is very strong. Your lymph system could be really a mess, and you're just too strong. And every time you go on a fruit, it's just like you're having a detox. I have tried reducing my meat intake. Well, if you're still eating meat, don't bitch at me. Because if you keep eating meat, there's no way any of you are going to feel better, ever. Meat is so far away from the human vibration and frequency, it's not even funny. It's one thing to have a little cheat once in a while. Someone has a Barbie, let me just taste it. But I can just tell you, as long as you're consuming an acid ash food, you can't change the outcome. And the reason we all get in these problems is from eating acid ash foods. If you want to buy into the medical world and disease symptoms that have Hashimoto's name on them, flying in from Moose Jaw, Alaska, go ahead. But the body is made of cells, structure, function, and the fluids that take care of the cells of structure, function. And when the chemistry is everything, vibrationally too, remember that, we talked about that. Walking in a room and feeling someone just doesn't feel good to be around them, you want to walk away. Those are feelings that you can't put your finger on, but you can sense that. Apply that universally to everything. Get your senses up. And you want to back all this up with herbs and or glandulars. Because if your adrenals are that down, and you're looking for the salt, that means your adrenals are way down. So when you crave salt, that's your adrenal glands. So try a different way of dealing with this. You're doing the paleo way, not a way I would deal with it. I have attempted to start the transition. Away from meat I go, relying solely on fruits and salads. That's where I'd be going. The more my blood sugar becomes dysregulated and my body stressed, that'd be your adrenal glands. But then your adrenal glands would always be involved in this. So you got to work on your adrenal glands. It's kind of in your face here about your adrenal glands and your kidneys. I am aware my body is super sensitive, and I've been chronically unwell with undiagnosed Hashimotos for over 10 years and adrenal fatigue for the last 5 years. Is your blood pressure real low? All of that sort of thing. Look at your eyes, see what your lacunas look like in these areas. I am very thin. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So what do we have facing us, right? You have malabsorption facing you. So here we go. Remember, your body is a food processor. So how do you expect to be healthy if you're not processing food? You're already malabsorbed. Well, we know that's a lymph system, right? So that means your adrenals have to be down. So your adrenals are utilization. So let's say you had a little pancreatic weakness. Remember, the pancreas is the main digestive organ of the human body for the blood. The gallbladder deals with lipids. That's for the lymphatic system, not for the blood. So the pancreas is the main digestive organ of the blood system. That's your main digestive organ. And digested foods goes right out the whoopee. Now, when all this food is digested and absorbed, that's pretty good, right? But if you have malabsorption, you fail right there to absorb your goodies. So you can't say anything until you fix these 4 phases. Digestion, absorption, what's the third? Utilization. How does your body utilize chemistry? It's called adrenal steroids. Only 25 mineral corticosteroids produced by your adrenal glands for mineral utilization, like zinc. So how about iron? When your iron's low, everybody goes to the liver. What about your adrenal glands and your low steroids? Nobody thinks of that. So you want to look at those things. Where was I on that? Yeah. So then you've got digestion, you got absorption, utilization, and what's the fourth? Elimination. And we're not just talking about digestive waste, are we? We're talking about metabolitic waste, cellular waste. Because every cell in your body poops. And you got 100 trillion of them roughly. That is, no one really knows. You hear 50 trillion, that was 30 years ago. And then 78 trillion, well, it was 78 trillion when I went to school. But then Discover or National Geographic said 50 trillion. That's way old. So the latest research is saying up to 100 trillion. It's like, give or take a few trillion. Cells. Amazing. Imagine building a house, both the electrical and plumbing departments, out of wood. Everything's wood. Hinges, doorknobs, everything is wood. Impossible. So how does your body do it? With cells. Everything is cells, except for your fluids that take care of them, but everything's cells. Your doorknobs, everything, electrical wires, everything is cells. How cool. How amazing. Did we say that?
Yeah.
I thought so. I know that my adrenals are down still despite being on adrenal adaptogens and intermittent glandular support. Well, that's smart. Yeah, that's exactly smart. This is just how you do it. You know what? Get into some meditation and get into your emotional karma. There could be some things from the past and even past lives that you're carrying forward, and you need to do some creative releasing. You know, that's part about pulling yourself into the now. That's a big creative release from creation. And that's a big thing about living in the now and becoming the observer, because it's a relaxed state of beingness that is pure awake. That means you're being purely awake with no thoughts to take that awareness and reduce it down. So when you're conscious, fully conscious, you're fully awake. As soon as the mind sees something, it starts you thinking, then that big picture starts going down to the thoughts again. When you can master stop thinking, you've mastered God consciousness. So the thinness is right off. So you know you're going to get even more thin. You're going to be prepared to man up, right? Woman up in your case, right? You're going to have to, because you're going to get a little skinnier. You know, when you're skinny like this and malabsorbed, you got to fix it. So you got to fix these 4 stages. And it's funny, we have to go back to the last stage of elimination and fix that before we can fix the pancreas and before we can fix absorption, which is the lymphatic stagnation interstitially in the intestinal wall. And you can't get better absorption until you fix what? The lymphatic system. There's that system again. Sounds like a broken record, but it is indeed the lymphatic system. But could you please explain the Hashimoto's connection to blood sugar as well? I don't know of any, except one. Which one might that be? Oh, Ruby. Pituitary, my dear. Pituitary. Your pituitary controls all of that. The adrenals and blood sugar, pancreas and blood sugar, thyroids. Your thyroid can be down. Notice how many people have little polyps in the thyroid. You say, oh, you got a polyp in the thyroid. What system is polyps from? Blood or lymph? Not anything to do with cells. Polyps has nothing to do with being a cell. So you're dealing in the fluid. So which fluid would a polyp come from? Blood or lymph? Well, if it was blood, they wouldn't be coming out of your bowels real easy. No, these are lymph expressions. So that means that when you see these, your thyroid is becoming what? Lymphatically stagnant. Most people that have no tonsils, they get it right here. You know, dangerous stuff. Take out lymph nodes. So this is all lymph. And as I said, when these 4 stages, remember these 4 stages? Acute, subacute, chronic, and then of course degenerative. So there's really 3 stages and then death, right? So when you look at these stages, the acute and subacute stages, these are the beginning stages of acidosis, of lymph stagnation, whatever you want to call it. This can create hypo or hyper conditions of the thyroid. It can be Graves as much as it can be Hashimoto's. Just because of the lymph system having stagnation in that area. Why? Acids. Acids can stimulate your butt, but it also can take it down. See, it's like estrogen. Estrogen can stimulate, it's a great acid, but when you start getting into the hotter acids, you know, they can have the bite on both sides a lot more than the minor acids, no question. So that's why it's important to get the acids out of the body. That's what God intended. Get these metabolites out of the body. You know, and elimination is a key factor. Well, man, it's just everything's diseases. So you can go 10 days without elimination. They let a patient of mine in the hospital go 10 days without a bowel movement. 10 days in a hospital. How? Go figure. Nurses, tell me. You wouldn't let your patients go more than 2 or 3 days. She was so distended and so much in pain, they put a duragesic patch on her. Then they put another because she fractured both. She has bone cancer. Both femurs fractured. Both femurs popped on her. So I'm fighting the hospital in this case. They dump her into a nursing home to die, and of course that's what she did. Only a few days afterwards too. And I fought in every way, shape, or form for her, but I was a maniac in there. 10 days without having a bowel movement. You should have a bowel movement every day, especially in a hospital. Jesus criminy. Sad stuff out there. Okay. So the only connection to Hashimoto's, my dear, to the adrenals and blood sugar is going to be the pituitary, which you want to take a look at because you're not going to get your Hashimoto's up until you get your pituitary up, right? If it is a TSH problem. Get your, between your eyes, your blood work and TSH and the T3s and T4s, you should be able to look at that and figure that out. If not, I'll be happy to look at that for you. But the big thing is get your lymphs moving, dear one. You're skinny. You're going to be really skinny. You got to look at these videos and realize what you're up against, and that you got to fix this. Once you fix it, you can build your body into the beautiful body you want, whatever you want to do with that. But you got to fix this problem, because malabsorption leads to Crohn's, IBS, UC, ulcerative colitis, all the stuff you don't want to know, and you don't want to have removed, and you know, with the bowel cancers and all that. So these are big deals here. All of this stuff is big deals. You know, and you want to correct them. How do you correct Hashimoto's? What system do you go after? You always go after the lymphatic system. You can use a glandular. You were a smart woman already, Ruby. I like the fact that you have intermittent glandulars along with the herbs. I like that. But if you're using that and you can't seem to get anywhere, the problem's pituitary. You're not hitting the pituitary, and therefore you're not budging the thyroid, because the thyroid isn't the problem, the pituitary does. So that might be where your problem is. So you want to hit the pituitary. Maybe use the herbal pituitary for 1 month and check your basals and see if it brings your basal temperatures up during that month while you're hitting the pituitary gland. At the same time, you're after the adrenals, you're after the kidneys, you're after the lymphatic system, you're after the GI tract. So always the lymphatic system. That includes the skin, kidneys, adrenal glands, thyroid. That's your lymphatic system with all the lymph vessels, lymph nodes, lymph fluids. So just remember, what you do to one cell in your body, you do to them all. If you're working on getting one cell healthy, you'll get them all healthy. If you're trying to destroy one cell, you destroy them all. And how to get around it while attempting to go plant-based. You're attempting to go plant-based. If you're attempting to go plant-based, that means you're living off the epinephrine of the meat. And that means, and here's another thing about meat eating, guys, it's full of epinephrine. Anybody ever been to a slaughterhouse? All right? Because they say if you want tender meat, shoot your animal in the field so they don't know they're going to die the next minute. But slaughterhouse meat is full of epinephrine, and slaughterhouses are horrible. I've been to a lot of them. We were farmers. I've been to nasty. It's enough to say, though, that this epinephrine is a stimulant. That's your epi, and people are always hyped up. So when you stop eating meat, you can crash just from two things. I would say your average meat eater is an alcoholic, number one, and has a lot of epinephrine, number two. So you're fighting two things. Because when you eat meat, most people eat meat with a starch. And if you eat meat with a starch, you're setting yourself up for putrefaction and fermentation, because they do not combine. They do not digest in the same slur. So it's two different. One's an acid, one's an alkaline initially. Yes, amino acids end up with the alkaline slurries, of course, but initially no. So there is no good reason to eat meat or to continue. If you already are suffering, why are you still attempting to get rid of it? You got to get your discipline up a little stronger than that, honey. We got a big world out here that's getting mean and everything, and we need to be the light for this planet. So get your strength up. Stop the dead animal crap. We're not paleos, we're islanders. So go back and take the islander consciousness on. If you want to take a consciousness on, be careful about that. If you want to take a consciousness on, or use a state of consciousness to help yourself, then take on the islander state of consciousness, not a caveman state of consciousness. Wrong one. It's fallacy. It's untrue. Also, in relationship to leaky gut, your take on this. My take is simply there's no such thing as leaky gut in the terms people call it leaky gut. I don't know who originated that title, but a true leaky gut would mean you would be leaking you'd be leaking into the abdominal cavity. And I've told you I've only had one case of that where I could smell him. And if I hadn't called my surgeon friend right then and told him what I was experiencing, and he hadn't got down to his office, wouldn't have made it. Wouldn't have made it. It was that close. That's perforated bowel. It's enough to say that when you look at your GI tract, our GI tract is like the omnivores and the herbivores. They're ringed, so you have maximum absorption. Carnivores are smooth for the least amount of absorption. Wait a minute, aren't you supposed to absorb your nutrition? Yeah, but if you're a meat eater, that by the time you use the length of a human or a herbivore, you get major putrefaction. It is almost impossible to get a dead animal in and out before you get a major kickback from it. So, and those that don't move their bowels for days and eat dead animals, you can imagine why the call of the wild in terms of microbes are coming into people. When you stink like dead animal meat, you're going to have people coming after you. Mosquitoes, flies, all the things that want a little piece of that. But it's enough to say when you're suffering, you don't want to eat dead animals. If you want to eat dead animals, get yourself healthy first. Get it? Get yourself healthy first, and then go back to eating the dead crap. Because dead animal, there's nothing healthy about dead tissue and stagnant blood whatsoever. That's all you're eating is dead tissue and stagnant blood. Dead cells and stagnant blood. It's only the Barbie that makes that taste good. But, ugh. Now, you want to get on the bowel formulas and the GI broom and clean the plaque off the bowel walls. Get where the problem is 90% of the time in the GI tract is interstitial. In the wall. From in the wall grows your tumors, your polyps, and all that sort of thing. It's in the wall, interstitial. That's where the Crohn's, the swelling of the bowel wall, the ulcerations. That's acids chewing on you. And you're eating more acid food? Makes no sense, Ruby. So you got to stop acid ash foods, or don't be bitching to nobody. All right? So you got to stop all your dead animals. Just go to green drinks and fruit, and see if you can stabilize with that. If you can't, have a salad, but you're going to have to blow through this. Get yourself on an herbal protocol regimen, and you're just going to have someone put you on that, or go to our video that talks about that and figure out yourself a protocol for that. Because you've got enough problems here. You want to deal with this. You got some serious issues here, and I wouldn't want to play with that. Don't worry about your antibodies and crap like that with your thyroid. That's nothing. Matter of fact, you've been a year on that. If I can't get rid of that in a few months, there's something wrong. So you can see the difference, and you're still not over it. You should have been well over it by now. Well over it. Just shows you the paleo diet. Just thought I'd share this with you. Oh, what is it? This is Alex. Hey, Alex. Hi, my man. It's 3 a.m. I believe it. I believe it. Some of your iris analysis are 3 a.m. iris analysis. Or 5 a.m. It's 3 a.m. I'm driving, and I turn on the radio, and a doctor is talking about his discovery of lymphatic cells in the brain. Look at that. Abort time, yeah, baby! Lots of love. Seems the medical community has been long behind. Well, Alex, you know, it takes them, let's see, I've been in this field 45 years. And when I first got into this field, of course, I got into the raw foods and the fruitarian side. But then I wanted to know what I could do to help the world. And so the only thing I think, open up a health food store. So I opened up a health food store, and that changed my world because I started eating out of it, thinking it was healthy. And I learned a lot, that it's not, health food stores are not healthy. Produce stores are. So health food stores, you can buy candy in them now. You can buy anything in health food stores. I wouldn't have anything in my store that wasn't as good as I could find. But I didn't understand grains. I didn't understand proteins. I would eat a tiger's milk bar every once in a while. Carob was in, so I saw carob-covered bananas, carob-covered pineapples, and, of course, carob-covered raisins. And then Haagen-Dazs had carob ice cream. God, I filled myself back full of mucus on that one. That one was so good. Oh, see? So we all struggle with this because everybody, some of these things are pretty good out there, but life-threatening. It brings your health down, for sure. But isn't that cool, Alex? It takes a medical profession. In other words, I was using supplements back in the early 70s, and we all got yelled at, and FDA and all kinds of crap for supplements. Medical doctors said we were crazy and called us all kinds of names, and now if you don't get your vitamin D3, you're going to die. If you don't have your B12, oh, you're really going to die. I mean, all this kind of crap like that's coming out of the AMA. It's like, oh, guys, it wasn't that long you hated us because we were using that. Now, if you don't use it, you see what I'm saying? We've taken it, at least some of us have taken another step up. And that's what we need to do. We need to bring the world up to our level of thinking because it is a simplistic level. It is a level of chemistry and physics, and you need that in understanding health. If you don't understand chemistry or physics, they can call it pseudoscience all they want, but our theory works. That's where they have a problem. Our pseudoscience theories seem to work, and your real science, it doesn't seem to work with all the deaths and killing people. That's the blowback. That's the lies. You know, when you get people like that, the best way they do is they lie to you. Because they don't know the answer. Instead of, well, I don't know, they lie. And it's like, no, if you don't know, say you don't know. So, thanks, Alex. Yeah, that's the West Virginia, University of West Virginia. Going on about 3 years now, 2.5 years ago, found the lymphatic system in the brain. You know, then before that, remember the lady found the glymphatic. I don't know why she blamed the glymphatic, and why she didn't call it the lymphatic system. Marcy's trying to get a hold of her and talk to her, and I want to see where they're going with the glymphatic side of that, because that's a second lymphatic system of the brain dealing with the spinal fluids, and it's like, it's getting pretty interesting out there, isn't it? So, I mean, and of course the University of West Virginia claimed that the reason they didn't see the lymphatic system is that you can't in cadavers. It's so translucent, it like supposedly disappears or something? I don't know. But remember the body's exhibit from China? They didn't have the lymphatic. They had every other system. They even had the vascular system hanging up, arteries and veins. Not a sight to be seen for the lymph system. Oh well. Adrenal gland adenoma was found when I had a CAT scan for first kidney stone ever. Oh, I hate kidney stones. Jesus Christ, they're horrible. I have read an adenoma is found in this situation to go undetected and are not found until a person has an autopsy. I've heard similar. I've heard things like that before as well, you know. But generally, a lot of people die with tumors. And like I've said that before, unless a tumor is suppressing structure function, you're not going to know you got them. I had to annually take a CAT scan to make sure that the adenoma had not grown in size. I have since had another kidney stone. Yeah, you better go after your kidneys and adrenals and get your kidneys to filter. That'll pull that right out of the adrenals and help that as well. Or, you know, could lose, you know, you don't want to go any further with that anyway. Because when you're just holding things, even though its size isn't increasing, it's still acidic, so there is tissue being damaged, I'm sure. Went through 24-hour urine testing and other tests, saw a specialist, and she sees no cause to be alarmed. I'd get rid of it. I love that. It's like, let's just watch that little bitty pea-sized tumor. Oh, now it's a giant mass like a football. Oh, I'm sorry. Could this be a reason I do not feel well? Yeah, absolutely could be a reason. Your adrenal glands is your neurotransmitter. That's your nervous system. So everything can be affected. Your happiness, the way your functionability, and your sensory receptions, everything can be affected. Very fatigued. All right, so let's look at this. Very fatigued. That's the adrenal glands. If you got a thyroid with it, that could be double the fatigue. Now here's the catch. Why I say about the thyroid. Insomnia. All right, insomnia is a pineal gland, right? So get a pineal gland glandular. Don't do melatonin. Do 1 to 2 capsules 1 to 2 hours before sleep. Now, that's telling me, my dear one, that you have a transverse bowel weakness that's feeding the sinus and the head area, and the possibility you have a pituitary weakness is right there with it. If you have insomnia, that's a pineal, the pituitary is right next door, going to say that the probability is high that you have a pituitary weakness. Your eyes will show. Your eyes will show it. Body pain. All right, so the adrenals are down, the kidneys are down, the lymph backs up. That's metabolitic waste. Metabolitic wastes are acidic, and so when these wastes back up, pain. And if you've used antibiotics in your life and you kill the lymph node, you kill the bacteria in your lymph nodes, you can be dealing in a lot of body pain because you don't have the bacteria to break down these acids for you. Oops, they forgot about that. when they kill your bacteria, they forgot to tell you they also helps you break down your metabolites. Oh, they don't think. No interest in anything. Yeah, you need to get your happiness back. It's probably thyroid and parathyroid. So, sounds like your whole endocrine glands are down. So take a look at them. Go after your pineal with what I said, a glandular that way for sleep, and get adequate sleep and everything. You might go to the pituitary, herbal, parathyroid, glandular, adrenal, glandular 400s temporarily. In a month go down to 200s, and in a month go down to just the adrenals with licorice, that sort of thing. You can add licorice to your formulas to make blood pressure go up if you have low blood pressure, because even the glandulars don't always raise your blood pressure. I have to drag myself to work every day at your adrenals. And you probably have the kick on both, because I can tell you probably a little pituitary going down, so that's going to slam your thyroid and your adrenals. So you can have both of them down and really feel tired. Would like to have much more happy times with my 4 grandchildren. Well, honey, eat yourself on a fruit, berry, and melon diet, and they put smiles on your face. Invigorate your body. Get your bowels cleaned up in your GI tract. Get your kidneys a filter. Get all this acid out of the body, and you'll start getting smiley and happy. Eat a piece of meat and you go depressed again. Meat eating robs the body of calcium, guys. I mean, I can't... I just feel exhausted. Any help in this matter would be appreciated. There's all kinds of help in your way, dear one. Should be able to fix this right up. You know, give me a name, whether it's a male or female, but you should be able to fix that right up. However, when you work on the adrenal glands and you're not going anywhere, I want you to think of the pituitary. Pituitary literally controls everything, so work with that as well. If it's still not budging, it's into your astral world, and you want to take a look at something that could have happened to you that you consciously have stored away, or that you consciously can't remember from a past life. That's where meditation or working with your spiritual guides can come in and help you and expose these things and burn them off for you, so you're free of that. Then everything goes up. But get yourself some flowers and, you know, look at beautiful things and be happy. You know, we love the self. No matter what pain and what your physical body is, that isn't you. That's your car. They didn't tell you the type of fuel to feed your cars while you're here, how to take care of your cars, but it isn't you. So spend some time away from your car. Don't always have to be in your car, do you? Because you're always in the main car. You can never lose yourself. Notice that? We've talked about that before. There's no place to run and hide. My name is Frankie Rodriguez. In 2007, I had endoscopic sinus surgery. Since then, I've had all kinds of sinus issues. You know, this is just a good point, my friend, to show you that surgeries aren't always beneficial. Want to be real careful, especially with sinus. Once you get this hydrated and break this loose, work on your GI tract, understand that connection of this GI tract, get your kidneys filtering. This should break loose. To go through surgeries, what does that do when you're congested, and how does that help? You see, you've got to decongest when you're congested, not surgically remove. Present day, I'm dealing with constant postnasal drip that won't go away. All right, so look at your diet, see what you're doing, what you're eating there, this mucus forming. Get rid of it. Put yourself on an extended fruit diet. Put yourself on a 10, 15-day grape diet. Let this stuff come. Let it keep coming out and out. You'll dry up, but you've got to get in there and get this out. Might do some upper circulation. Want to work on the GI tract and GI broom, get the kidneys to filter, that sort of thing. You know, work on that. I always feel like I'm thirsty because of the constant swallowing. Well, you know what? It sounds like you're extreme. Yeah, I can get that. On one side, you have a lot of mucus. On the other side, you're dehydrated as hell. That's because you're highly acidic, which causes the mucoses to release mucus. Now, different chemicals can do that, or your brain can be literally full of mucus and you just keep dripping, which you want to drip. You want it to come out, but not all the time. I've tried acupuncture and dietary change. No, you really have to go after this. You have to spend some time on fruits, berries, and melons and allow for hydration. At the same time, my dear man, you have to fix your lymphatic stagnation. You don't fix that, I don't know how you fix anything. That's what I teach. If you don't fix your kidneys and get them filtering and get your body hydrated and up, I don't know how you move lymph. I don't know how you get rid of acids, and I don't know how you would expect to get better. People don't. People don't. They take stuff to treat it, but in the long run it just exacerbates and just like here, makes everything worse. The only meat I eat right now is fish, right? I eat mainly a Mediterranean diet, right? Can you suggest anything for me to do? Islander diet. I want you to go to the, think about some Asian country or some South Pacific island or something like that, you know. Think of Vietnam or some of these countries that have high fruits that are extremely good. Indonesia, high fruit, excellent fruit. Get yourself on a fruit diet. Try a whole different level of thinking. Allow this fruit and astringents clean you and pull this stuff out of you. But you got to get all the mucus out of you. But check your urine, make sure you're filtering and all of that. Doc, hope all is well. All is well. Christmas is in 1 week. It's another day in the hood around here. There's so many sick people, it's unbelievable. But I'm doing good. Still hanging in there, guys. Basically, I get a lot of, matter of fact, I alone put in, over the weekend, about 75 foot of horizontal shadow box fence, both sides, and I built it by hand. I already sunk the post in concrete last week, though. But then I put the your cross pieces and your pickets on. And I did it at 75 feet of it, both sides. That's a lot. And I hung a gate as well and did a lot of other stuff. So I'm still kicking good. Basically, I get a lot of sleep. Basically, I get a lot of sharp pain. Maybe that's my subconscious wishing I did get some sleep. Basically, I get a lot of sharp pain in the lower back and urethra area. Am fed up of the pain. Now when I urinate, it comes up foamy. Is it proteins? Get rid of proteins. I'm just telling you guys seriously, when you're in trouble, run from the proteins. Dead serious. Think about this. Really only one species in the jungle that is a high protein species of the vertebrates. And that is your carnivores, and they don't do so well. Carnivores sleep most of the time. There's no energy for endurance. Their carbons are low. You burn carbon for energy. So this is just, you want to get, when you're hurting, especially when you're in pain, you don't want to do protein. Do this. I told you, I gave a medical doctor a little lesson in this. Give yourself a lesson. Go on a raw diet, salads, fruits, berries, melons for a couple of weeks. For a week. It'll help that lower pain big time. And then just put yourself back on your old way of eating. And you let me know. Put yourself back on meats and let me know if that pain comes back. See, you have to understand what's giving people the pain. What's exacerbating these pains? Well, pain is of the acid side and meat is of the acid side. It's an acid ash forming food. So you can't get out of pain still eating meat. That's the first thing you drop is the meat. Magnesium B6. What about magnesium B6? Kidney stones? You could. But the best thing is to quit eating your acid ash foods, creating the slurry for them. You know, the more acidic the body becomes, the more stoned up it becomes. Whether it's gallstones, liver stones, kidney stones, it doesn't matter. A product of acidosis, plain and simple. I am a male, 82 in age. No kidding. Pretty good. Pretty good, man. My problems are enlarged prostate, could have guessed. Kidneys, adrenals, bladder infection. I need help selecting the right protocol. I am changing my food to fruit, melon and berries. Thank you for your response. You know, you're a good old boy doing that. That's a smart man. Kidneys, that's where your problem is. The prostate's just a victim of that. Your prostate's a victim of the adrenals and kidneys. So once you get your kidneys to filter, my dear man, you will then pull that acid out of the prostate and fix it. I can give you saw palmetto and prostate herbs, but realistically, I save your money because you got to go after your kidneys and adrenal glands first. Because if you don't, you're just throwing good in on the bad, so to speak. You know, you're wasting your money. You want to go after the cause of the problem. We focus on the cause of problems. If anybody wants to focus on treating a symptoms, you go right ahead. But notice who's the most successful. And when you focus on the cause, you're always successful because you're eliminating the cause of one's problems. But I would just take off on the 14-week protocol. That's a perfect protocol for your problem. And if you wanted to, you want to do the fruit, berry, melon diet, but you also want to think about some 24 to 36 hour dry fast. I haven't had a lot of sleep, so I apologize to you. It's just, I've been working double time getting everything done. I apologize by not having this our class in January. I wanted it real bad, but we are just so backed up, and we haven't had time to put it together at the level we want it. And I wanted it in between level 1. I want it to be the next level 2, because here's the thing. There's so much information to give to you at level 1, and we don't want to cram it down you, but I do hit the road running. When you come to level 1, be prepared, because we want to get on down the road. But still, with all of that in all 4 days, we still need protocol work, big time, understanding more about herbs and stuff. You have to learn how to do blood pressures and read blood work. So we thought we would bring this and have round table protocols out to the butt. Yours, your family's. Before you enter iridology, I'd like to see you know what's up with protocols, because it's not fair to have an iridology class and have to cover protocols all the time. You get protocols in iridology class by looking at an eye, but we want you to know the protocols first, so that way we can go through the eyes lickety split, and you can get a good idea and understand the protocols. So next year we're going to try to rearrange things to where we have this now pulled in between iridology and level 1, because it's just a real hands-on class. Real hands-on, not a real big class, hands-on class. Because we really want you to understand what you're doing and how you work with people. So a lot more to that side of it. Level 1 is, there's that, but there's also the informational side. Why are we fixated on the lymph system? How does the heavens look? What's this God world chart mean? What does the heavens look like? Because it isn't just health that's your survival. You want to survive as soul, I'll use that word, or as consciousness beyond this world, but also beyond the few other ones that you're going to go through. So it's just becoming awake, and there's nothing like it. You want to wake up. So 82-year-old man here with a little prostatitis, hypertrophy of the prostate, kidneys and adrenals, and bladder infection. Your kidneys and adrenals are your answer to that one, but it's also your answer all over. At 82 years old, my man, I would live on upper circ, lower circ, and brain and nerve. You're going to love those. At 82, you can see 102. And get your kidneys filtering, get everything cleaned up, and at 82, you might just be the next Dr. Jensen 150-year-old interview. I think there was a Russian, 167-year-old Russian. There was a lot of elderly Hunzas, and then Charlie Smith up here was an orange picker. A black man died at 120. And all he ate was oranges and sardines and crackers. Hi, Mr. Morse. My question is, do you have a natural cure to kill caries, tooth decay? Do you have a video who already respond? There's been a lot of people that have written in to answer this for you. There have been a lot of people writing in saying that their cavities are gone. I just say that receding gums, abscesses, the breaking down of enamel, this is all acidosis. And even when you get into high fruit that's like lemons, you want to be careful about that in the mouth, because there is a calcium buffering system. Whether medical doctors want to agree with all the universities or not, I go with the universities. We have a calcium buffering system, and the acids pull. You have cocoa oil. Is that coconut oil or just cocoa oil? I don't know what this other thing is. I don't know what these other things you're asking. I don't know what these are. I don't even know how to pronounce them. Gimgemder. And then there's a girofle. I don't know what all that is. I tested a bit omega-3 oil, fish liver oil, and but, well, everything has a fatty acids in it. If you feel like you need more, that's your lymph system. And remember, your gallbladder is more for lipids, so clean your liver gallbladder out. I would go up to the omega-6s and 9s and 3s. We don't need fish oils. You got plenty of oils in your fruits and the berries and melons. It isn't a thing that the FDA really likes, is oils. Marcy is getting a major blowback from the use of too much, and oils are not really designed for internal use. Not heavy, not at all, not but a few drops. Not dropperfuls, a few drops. They can take you out. Nature's pretty strong in its ways. Thanks you so much for fruit knowledge and lymphatic systeme. Kiss, 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 kiss. XD. Love you. Love you. Love you. Isn't that fun? This is fun, isn't it? It's fun to get yourself healthy and well. It's fun to be able to give love to others and feel love from others. Remember, what you get back from others is a reflection of what you're giving. Now, with that said, you're always going to come across a loved one or someone that just doesn't buy into your understanding. Johnny Appleseed, thank you very much. Come see me someday when you're ready. Because it doesn't matter. Anyone that wants to have a healthy body's got to circle around through this someday. Because if you don't detox and detox properly, at today's level of lymph stagnation and genetic weakness of the cells, not going to fare well. This is being brought to this planet because it's essential at this level. The human cell can't tolerate any more degrading. Take a look at the young ones and the babies. It's not fun, and it's not a pretty picture, and nothing's good about it at all. Sad stuff. And we're the ones in charge with helping this, so I love you all for helping me and coming aboard here. Hi, Dr. Morse. Thank you very much. Thank you for the continuous education you give us. Isn't it fun? I love it. When we learn, we pass it on, because we want this all to fit, like even for the medical community. We want you guys to get this to where you don't hurt anybody anymore. You really get this, and it can turn your whole system around. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, because that system is so locked and geared into the way it's doing. Which helped and continues to help open our eyes. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a level 1 graduate from your class and can't get enough of all the great info I learned from you and your team. Thanks. We got a good team. I think we got a great team. We try hard, and everybody's nice. Sometimes we get people not so nice that call in here, and then they jump on all our people, but we try to... what company calls you when you order just lymphatic herbs to make sure you have a kidney herb for you? We do all kinds of stuff like that. I've been doing detoxing of my kidneys already for 1.5 years, and it's been going great, usually mostly kidneys, adrenals, 400. Now, you can come off that adrenal 400 and go to the adrenal herbal, and if your blood pressure is still low, hitchhike licorice root. You've had probably enough of the 400. Lymphatic 5, you only want to do that for about 1 bottle or 2. That's the butt kicker, blood root, poke root, chaparral, and parasite M. This is a good cleansing thing. My diet has turned heavy into strawberries, watermelon, lettuce, cucumber salads, and heavy on crave steamed cauliflower. I love these. It's funny, even in your vegetable land, there's so much good food. You can take veggies and cut them up and make the most flavorful salad. And there is some good aromas, but there's nothing like the fruit for the flavors and the aromas. But have them both, who cares? It's just that if you want deeper and neurological work, it's the fruits, berries, and melons only. Now, haven't eaten meat, chicken, fish in almost 2 years. And I'm pretty vegan and some gluten-free pasta, average once per 2 weeks. As a result, I lost 45 pounds, gained 10 pounds back, but settled there. Good work. I now have 2 separate questions I'd like to ask. First question, is my last blood work, excuse me, in my last blood work, I showed very high levels of uric acid and can't figure out what that's possible with the diet I have, which is very healthy. Fungus. Fungus, honey. Fungus. You're of a higher order anyway, my dear one, and so all of us that seem like we're more spiritual have fungal problems because we have adrenal weaknesses. That's what makes us more sensitive and stuff. But, with that said, well, I've been fascinated with blood chemistry a little bit, and I am a biochemist, so this medical doctor was a female, was putting on a blood chemistry seminar, and she touted she had a unique way of analyzing blood to help you solve the problems. Kind of like, what was his name? Check the urine and all that. That'll come to me here in a minute. But, I went to her seminar and I asked her, I'm the only naturopath full of medical doctors, and I'm saying, she said, yeah. And I said, we're talking about uric acid. I said, I detoxify people, and I see a lot of uric acid levels that are high, but they don't eat any meat. She looked at me and she says, fungus. I'm going, aha. And so you're just full of fungus. So detox that, use the parasite M, get the kidneys to filter like you're doing, and just keep detoxing that out, and that'll detox the uric acid out, because it's either from protein or fungus, and in your case, fungus. I show very high, and I can't, which is very healthy. Do you think the cauliflower might have something to do with this? No, fungus. Second question, when I urinate in the morning, I get a very clear urine. But when I leave it for 1 or 2 days sitting outside, I start seeing it become very blurry. Well, even though urine looks clear, there's always some. You have to be pretty in trouble not to have a little. So you can see the difference between a little filtration and adequate filtration. So I can just tell you, you just get those kidneys to filtering the best you can. You work through these cases the best you can, guys. And you just do everything to make yourself healthy and happy. Whatever makes you happy. Follow your inner guidance. Know that there's a hand that's guiding your world. And let that hand guide. Sometimes just sit back. Get back in the position. Assume the position of observation. And therefore you will see this hand of God coming through and clearing your path. It's cool. It's all get out. So, from me to you, I love you guys. Tremendous beings. It's my honor to work with you guys, to bring about an awareness that'll help us all. It's fun stuff. And Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, happy everything to everybody, whatever your thought is. But I like to celebrate every day. But have a fun Christmas. I'm going to try to do another video or 2 before Christmas for you. And see if Jen has any more of your latest questions. I'm almost out of these, although there's quite a few left here. But always remember that when you're in trouble, diet, uno number 1. Change it immediately. Get off of proteins. Get off of grains and beans. Get off of the acid-forming foods. Turn yourself onto the living, the powerful, the regenerative. And sit back and have fun. Watch your body go through this. Don't get caught up in it, because it's your journey, and it's removing the past obstructions. And that includes your emotional and mental obstructions. So hang in there. You're being worked on with all of the spiritual giants seem to be around, it seems like. So there's a lot of help for each and every one of you. And if you have very low funds, call in and see if we can help you. We have to fill out some paperwork and stuff, but we've got a producer. Now she's back in trouble. She's supposed to bring all the donations to us, and that didn't happen. Of course, everybody promises the moon. Just heal me and I'll give you all of this. I'll heal you anyway. I don't need anything in return. And that's the way it is. We heal because we're God people. But for those people with lots of money, there's a lot of sick people that need help. That's all I can say. And if there's anything like Shania Twain, I help kids. Do you really, Shania? I love you, dear. But let's help the people that need it, and you know what I'm talking about. Love you guys.